Good morning and welcome to the Friday morning prayer time and devotional here at Faith Presbyterian Church. And so glad you're able to join us. We wrapped up the book of Nahum this past Wednesday morning. Well, for here on out, I think what I'd like for us to do is maybe walk through the book of Hebrews. My wife and I are reading the book of Hebrews together in the morning, and so I just am enamored with the message of the book of Hebrews. Of course, all of God's word should cause us to be amazed by God and should direct us in the ways of the Lord. Naturally, of course, yes, but the book of Hebrews is just so rich with the good news of Jesus Christ. In fact, I would argue that that the main message of the book of Hebrews is basically this. It's not complicated. It's Jesus is greater. That's the main message of the book of Hebrews, that Jesus is greater than all things, that the sum of history is Christ, the sum of the Bible is Christ, the goal of Scripture is Christ, the center of Scripture is Christ. And here the book of Hebrews works real hard at making that point. And actually, the writer of the book of Hebrews doesn't have to work hard at all to make that point, that Jesus is the center of all things. And as you read through the book of Hebrews, it is so eloquently written. It's basically a series of sermons showing how Jesus is greater than Moses, Jesus is greater than the temple, Jesus is greater than the sacrifices, Jesus is greater than the priesthood. In fact, the main point of the book of Hebrews is that Jesus fulfills all the types and shadows in the Old Testament, that Christ is the culmination of all the promises of God. And so if you have your Bibles, go to the book of Hebrews, and we're just going to walk through chapter 1 real quick, just for the next few minutes. I'll read chapter 1, and then we're going to jump back into chapter 1 and just look at a few things here that point to how Jesus is greater than all things. So take your Bibles and turn to the book of Hebrews, and we're going to begin in chapter 1, verse 1, which says, "Long ago, at many times and in many ways, God spoke to our fathers by the prophets. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed the heir of all things, through whom also he created the world. He is the radiance of the glory of God, and the exact imprint of his nature. And he upholds the universe by the word of his power. After making purifications for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high, having become so as much superior to angels as the name he has inherited is more excellent than theirs. For to which of the angels did God ever say, 'You are my son, today I have begotten you'? Or again, 'I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me a son'? And again, when he brings the firstborn into the world, he says, 'Let all God's angels worship him.' Of the angels, he says, 'He makes his angels winds and his ministers a flame of fire.' But of the Son, he says, 'Your throne, O God, is forever and ever. The scepter of uprightness is the scepter of your kingdom. You have loved righteousness and hated wickedness. Therefore God, your God, has anointed you with the oil of gladness beyond your companions. And you, Lord, laid the foundation of the earth in the beginning, and the heavens are the work of your hands. They will perish, but you remain. They will all wear out like a garment. Like a robe, you will roll them up. Like a garment, they will be changed. You are the same, and your years will have no end.' And to which of the angels has he ever said, 'Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet'? Are they not all ministering spirits sent out to serve for the sake of those who are to inherit salvation?" Well, so right off the bat, the writer of the book of Hebrews wastes no time in talking about Jesus. Once again, the main theme of the book of Hebrews is that Jesus is greater than all things. And here, it seems that the writer of Hebrews is saying, look, Jesus is greater than the angels. The angels are great and everything. They're glorious and everything. Don't get me wrong. In fact, he makes his angels winds and his ministers a flame of fire. But Jesus is greater than that. Listen to how Jesus is described in the first 4 verses of the book of Hebrews. Look at this. "Long ago and at many times and in many ways, God spoke to our forefathers by the prophets. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed the heir of all things." So the first thing we're told about Jesus is that God speaks to us through his Son, Jesus Christ. In the past, God spoke through the prophets, and the prophets wrote down what God said through them. And so we have the book of Isaiah, the book of Ezekiel, Moses is called a prophet, so we have the book of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. So we have the whole Old Testament because God spoke through the prophets and they wrote down what they heard to pass on to God's people. But now, in these last days, God is now speaking to us directly through his Son, Jesus Christ, through the Gospels, through the New Testament. And so Jesus is the superior word. Jesus is greater, and Jesus is the superior word because he culminates all the things that the prophets spoke about. And so we look to Jesus in all things. Look what else he says about Jesus. He appointed Christ the heir of all things. I'm in verse 2, through whom he also created the world. So it was the Father through the Son who created all things. And in fact, we read in Colossians chapter 1 that it's by him and through him that all things are created and are held together by the word of his power. Jesus. So Jesus is the means through which God created. And don't ask me what that means, because that is a myriad of things attached to it. That's just so amazing. But again, the point is, Jesus is greater. Let's keep going. Look at verse 3. He is the radiance of the glory of God, excuse me, and the exact imprint of his nature, and he upholds the universe by the word of his power. After making purifications for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high. Two things you want to notice there. First of all, notice the royalty of Christ, right? I mean, he is the radiance of the glory of God. He's the exact imprint of his nature, and he upholds the universe by the word of his power. Jesus is just as sovereign as the Father is sovereign. And the universe is upheld by his sovereign might. And he sits at the right hand of God. But he did something first before he did that. Before he sat down at the right hand of God. What did he do? After making purification for sins, after dying in our place, after being raised in our place, after ascending unto the Father, after doing all these things for us, he sits down at the right hand of the Father. In other words, the distinctive mark of Jesus being King of Kings and Lord of Lords is that he's the slaughtered lamb in our place. Once again, Jesus is greater, and we are to look to Christ in all things. And then look at verse 4. Having become as much superior to angels as the name he has inherited is more excellent than theirs. Jesus is above creation. Jesus is above the angels. Jesus is above the universe. He is King of Kings, and he's Lord of Lords. And so, what is the message, or what is the truth that this world needs to believe? It is Jesus. Not some arbitrary truth, not some thought, not some kind of idea, but the reality of the person and work of Jesus Christ. That Christ is greater and over all things. So I want to ask you, is Christ greater than all things in your own heart, in your own mind? Do you consider Christ in all things? Before you speak, before you think, before you act, are you doing it through the lens and filter of the gospel of Jesus Christ? Because that's why Christ came and did what he did. That's why he came as the exact imprint of God, the radiant glory of God. That's why he came and he spoke to us. That's why he came and offered purification for sins, so that we could live in him and do all things for his glory, so that we may serve him, so that we may sing his praises, so that we may do all things for the sake of Jesus Christ. And so as you start your day today, that's what I think the writer of Hebrews wants us to focus on, is the greatness and glory and majesty of the person and work of Jesus Christ. That he is our everything. He is our satisfaction. So be satisfied in him, because he has done great things for you. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for being so good to us. Thank you so much for speaking to us through your Son, Jesus. Thank you so much for directing our eyes to him and seeing him as greater than all things, as more glorious than all things. And Father, may you teach us to rest in him, to live in him, to work and have our being in him. God, help us to meditate on him and walk in him. Father, thank you for giving us your Son, Jesus Christ. And all these things ask in your Son's precious name. Amen. So, real quick announcement. I think I may have said this before this past week in other videos, but it's worth saying again. So this Sunday, the 5th, and on July 12th, Alan Hawkins will be preaching. So pray for him. He's going to be preaching on the 5th and 6th commandment, honor your father and mother, and then the 6th commandment being you shall not murder. So pray for him. Pray that the Lord will direct his mind and his heart to what he would have you say to you and to us, and being instructed in the Lord. Pray for Steve Norton and Matthew Eccles, who will be leading worship. And pray for me and my family. We have gotten tested for COVID-19, and thus far we've been tested negative. We're negative for it. My mother and father are negative for it, and my aunt and uncle who live near my mom and dad have been tested negative for it. And so that's a praise. And so, but yet at the same time, for the next 10 days or so, I'm going to take vacation. I'm not going to be here on the 5th or the 12th. I'll be back on the 13th. So between the 3rd and the 12th, I'll be on vacation. It would be a staycation, and so be praying for my family and I that we get some rest and relaxation. But in the meantime, just feel free to call me or text me or email me if you need anything at all. So God bless you, and I hope you are doing well.